There was an incident in Germany. I'm trying to remember it. There was a communist revolution in Germany before World War II. Let me look it up real quick. I think it was called like the Spartacus movement. Yeah, so in 1918 to 1919, there was a communist revolution in the Weimar Republic. Or sorry, before the Weimar Republic, but it eventually resulted in the establishment of the Weimar Republic. So there was a communist revolution, and these commies wanted to take over Germany. And if they would have succeeded, that would have led to Germany being controlled by the Soviet Union. So there was a huge fear about communism in Germany. Huge fear. That's why they were so enamored by Adolf Hitler. That's why they revered him, because they thought he was a hero. They thought that he was going to save Germany from the communists. And that's why I think you'll see people like in the crowds and they're looking at Hitler and they got their hands up and they're crying and all this stuff, because they saw him as their hero. That's what they saw him as. They saw him as their hero, their savior. So you had a communist revolution in Germany, and it was a pretty big deal. It was like they were terrorists, right? The communists were like terrorists. So what happened? Well, those communists, they were Jews, right? Not all of them, but a lot of them were Jews. So Jew became associated with communism. Jew also became associated with degeneracy, degenerate behavior, degenerate art, etc., etc. And so the Jew became the enemy. And it was within this ideological paradigm that the Holocaust was considered to be justified. And it came to the point where you had Jewish people who were just regular folks being dragged into ghettos and then into concentration camps and death camps like Auschwitz or Ravensbrück or Dachau. Jews are becoming associated with what? Bringing in the refugees, bringing in immigrants. It's because of them that we have the refugees, right? Just like Jews were associated with a communist takeover, Jews are now being associated with an Islamic takeover of Europe or an immigrant, non-white takeover of the Western world. Jews are also being associated with what? Degeneracy. Pornography. I remember getting an anti-Jewish pamphlet in front of my house. I mean, it's so creepy, guys. This happened to me last year. It was so surreal. Guys, here's the thing. I did my video in regards to the growing trend of hatred towards Jews. And this is most of the people in the comments section disagreed with me. I was simply saying that the Elon Musk story is an indication of a growing hatred towards Jews. And people in the comment section said, "No, Ted, you're wrong. This is why we don't like Jews." And then they would proceed to describe why they don't like Jews. And it's like, you guys don't understand. You're literally proving my point. You guys are literally proving my point. You're not saying, "Ted, I've never met a Jew hater in my life." You're giving me every single talking point that people use to justify hatred towards Jews. And I can almost guarantee you that I've had more experience with Jews than anybody in that comment section. And I can tell you right now, I've had personal experiences with Jews who were pure evil. Pure evil. And they didn't say like, "Oh, I hate white people." No, they just hated Christians. They hated Christians. They were extremely arrogant. They were extremely condescending. They were very abusive in their behavior, abusive to waitresses, abusive to staff, abusive to employees. They wouldn't pay employees, things like that. They were, these ones that I knew, they were just nasty people. Very nasty people, but I've also met Jews who were also very good people. So I've had more experience with Jews probably than most of you here. My father was very big in the Zionist movement, so I've met a lot of Jews in my life. They're not all evil. There are some who are evil, but here's the thing. I have known white people who are not, people of European descent who were pure evil as well. Pure evil, okay? I have met black people who were awful. I've met Hispanics who were awful. Do I go out and say, I've had terrible experience with Jewish people. I have had terrible experience with Jewish people. Certain Jewish people. It's a fact. And I can tell you guys all about it. I've had terrible experience with them. I was in a situation where a group of people who were Jewish tried to hijack my website and completely destroy it. And they almost did. And they hated me. Why? Because I stand up for Christian principles. And they didn't like that. So I've had my experiences. It's not like I'm just sitting here, But even though I've had these terrible experiences, I still do not believe in making broad generalizations. I've had bad experiences with Hispanics. I've had bad experiences with whites. I've had bad experiences with other Middle Eastern people. I've had bad experiences with black folks. I've had bad experiences from every ethnic group. And I still do not believe that we should speak in this manner. The Jews foment hatred towards whites. The Jews do this. The Jews do that. And I've noticed this growing. I've noticed this growing hatred. I've noticed this growing hatred, and I remember years ago getting a pamphlet on my front door about how evil Jewish people are. I couldn't believe it. It was like on the front door, how evil Jewish people are. And how Jews dominate the pornography, and the Jews do this, and the Jews do that, and the Jews do this, and the Jews do that, and the Jews do this. And it's like, well, what the hell's going on here? What's going on here? You can point to these things all you want. You can point to them. The problem is that when people begin to generalize any sort of group, then that leads to hatred for people who have nothing to do with what you're talking about. And that's the problem. How do I join in for a live talk? What do you want to talk about? I saw the pamphlet right there in front of my house. Couldn't believe it. It's just like this never happened to me in my life. All of a sudden getting anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish pamphlets. Here's the problem with this way of thinking. Is when people start saying the Jews, the Jews, the Jews, guess what? Oh, maybe that Hitler guy was right. Oh, maybe they lied about the Holocaust. Oh, maybe Hitler was correct about something. Maybe he was right about something. Maybe he was... And then Nazism all of a sudden starts being seen in a positive way. And that is the danger behind this sort of language. And there are Jewish people who aren't like this. There are Jewish people who aren't for communism, or they're not for whatever degenerate behavior is out there. They're not for these things.